What if you could silence the noise of the world and access inner bliss? What if you knew the shining formulas for overcoming the enormous challenges that every soul faces? Welcome everyone, I'm Shakti Durga. Mystery School podcast, Ancient Wisdom for Everyday Life. We'll explore the ancient wisdom of the East and West, sharing stories and music, channeling light beings, scanning the unseen world, learning useful spiritual tools, and bringing forth peace, love, purpose, and abundance. In Mystery School, we co-create and share sacred frequencies, sending ripples of love that empower new possibilities to ignite our spirits, overcome obstacles, manifest our most inspired life, a life where your challenges become doorways to your deepest truth, where you anchor yourself in clarity and presence, not from your pain, but from the doors it opens into the deepest wisdom that's already within you. Your path has already begun. It's right beneath your feet. Let's illuminate that path together.
I want to welcome everyone to our premiere show. This is a series I am so super excited about. I want to introduce you to an amazing person. Someone who has followed a life path, not always from A to B. Sometimes you have to go from A to A plus, then you got to go this way, then you have to go that way. But here we are today, and I want to introduce you to Shakti Durga. And what I want to tell you about this amazing person is that this series, this is the first of many shows we will do together. And it is grounded in sharing this ancient wisdom for everyday lives, but especially for the lives we are in now. If you're searching, if you're looking, if you're uncomfortable, if you don't understand what side is up, what is down, where you're going next, there is a reason. And Shakti Durga is someone that has spent a lifetime as a spiritual teacher, somebody that has created mystery schools. You're going to hear about it today. We have a great announcement on a brand new website. There's so many things we are planning for you, but here's what I know. As today, she will tell her story of how you go from being a very successful, and dare I say, high-powered attorney to the presence, the purpose, the joy, the peace of a lifetime today of sharing and inviting people into a space which is truly a space of freedom. So fasten your seatbelts, as today and many, many other shows will be an invitation for all of us, myself including, to understand that we have within us what we need to rise up, to understand the frequencies, and to create a better world. Shakti Durga is here now with me. I want all of you to take a breath because you're going to get ready to be transformed. So great to be starting the show.
Thanks so much, Dr. Pat. It's really wonderful to be here with you.
I love this show today because we're going to have a conversation. You're going to share about your story, but we've got some great music at the end and a personal message. And, I wasn't kidding. If people misheard me and think, did she say attorney? I did say attorney, but let's talk about that pathway and how should I say it? The beautiful winding road that brought us to today, a trial attorney, right?
Yeah. 20 years of my life as a lawyer, 16 years dedicated as a trial attorney. And it gave me a lot. It was a marvelous career. And in fact, some of the things I learned back then still help me on my spiritual path today. It's incredible how the divine utilizes our entire life in service to whatever it is that the greater plan is for us. So it was no different for me. But I guess I got interested in spirituality because of going through a divorce when I was about 30 years of age. And I was just not prepared for it. I was stressed, I had a young child and a busy practice. And then there's all the dislocation that comes with divorce, which I'm sure some of your listeners would probably relate to. And so I was kind of keeping on, but I was getting pretty ragged around the edges. And one of my colleagues said, "You're a mess. You should come and learn to meditate." And like, this is 1992 or something. Nobody goes and learns to meditate in 1992. And it just seems so weird. But at the same time, I thought, well, he's not a stupid person. I should just go and check it out one night. What's it going to matter? So I went and met some beautiful people who were very much in their hearts, and they were guiding people, not just in meditation, but a lot of personal development work. It was very heart-centered, and that's what really appealed to me, that it was so loving. And so I dived in, and it was like black curtains being pulled back from my consciousness, from my mind, from my heart. It felt like my whole body just changed, and I thought, why didn't I know this when I was like growing up? Why didn't I know this as a teenager? And so I became very involved in that school and became a teacher. And then, the divorce came, and it all went through. I was in my new home, and as sometimes happens after a traumatic time, my body then just went splat, and I was very unwell for about 6 months, and I just couldn't get better. And someone suggested go and have energy healing, another thing I didn't believe in and thought was ridiculous. But given how well the meditation thing had turned out, I thought, well, I might as well give it a go. And again, a miracle. I just found that 6 months of very chronic lung infection just cleared up overnight. And I couldn't believe it. I really thought, how could that have happened? And then I decided I had to find out how that happened. And so that set me on a course of learning energy healing, which has become a mainstay for me in my life. And in fact, some years later, I ended up leaving law and becoming a healer. And the transition between those two careers was about a 5-year period. And during that time, I also did a lot of shamanic training and had some extraordinary experiences of the inner world and opening to spirit and opening to my soul in ways that I could never have envisaged. And, if someone had told me at the beginning of all of that, on that day that friend of mine said, you're a mess, come and learn meditation. If someone had said, you're going to connect with the divine, you're going to have this extraordinary experience of bliss beyond anything you could ever imagine, that you're going to be one with the cosmos, that your consciousness is going to expand from this is me to this is me, I never would have believed it, So it's been a very strange journey, Dr. Pat, full of things that I couldn't have anticipated. And, having guided people now for about the last 30 years in spiritual ways, I've seen miracle after miracle occur for people, and awful pieces that people experience in their life end up being the bedrock and the foundation for their spiritual growth. It's been incredible to watch how our pain becomes the seed from which a flower will germinate, and that our spirituality really comes to life from those incredible things.
Yeah. I also love this. And there's so much more we're going to be talking about because, today we're going to talk about a brand new, we call them websites, but they're not. There's a birthing that happens. We give birth to things. And it's what we talked about early. This series we're doing, we're going to offer sacred music, stories, channels, light beings. We're going to share tools to navigate. But the main thing for this show and this series is to help people and, who are court down. That's what happens with your car. When you're court down of oil, right? If you don't take care of it, all you need to do is get a little help with that. But one of the things I wanted to talk with you about too is we're talking about, Shakti Mission. We're talking about the mystery school. But what I'm fascinated about, and I love what you said, I really do think, I talked about this morning, I really do think there was something going on in the 90s. Something really spiritual before its time, maybe some seed planting. And I don't think it was for everyone, but I think there was this seed planting that was happening. Your experience, my experience of being asked by a boss that wanted me to go on a vision quest and steal all of the facilitators' ideas so that he could develop a corporate vision quest.
Oh.
Now, you and I can't plan these things. We can't plan the people that show up. But you see, we have to be awake and aware enough to know that there is more purposeful meaning in these yeses that we have in life. How did you find that meaning?
Well, for me, it was step by step. And I think that our spiritual path is like the divine's throwing down breadcrumbs, and all you can do is follow the breadcrumb without even really knowing when the next one's going to fall to the ground. So there's a lot of trust, a lot of faith involved, a lot of hope, really. And part of being in a mystery school is about how do you develop these inner qualities that are going to support you on your path, because it's your path and your path will be unique. And so, whilst there are precedents in terms of, well, there's these principles, there's these practices, how your actual path unfolds is a very sacred thing. And I think that's one of the main differences between a mystery school and perhaps a religion, is that a religion is, well, we're all doing this, we're all like this. And whereas I find the mysteries much more about the individual and playing our part in the unfolding of the great plan. And of course, done well, the religions are great mysteries, aren't they? But
Yes.
yeah, so it's just what it is. I think it's one step at a time, and find that yes within yourself. Sometimes when someone invites you into a situation, if you listen to your body, you can get a yes or a no. With a bit of practice, you can start learning what's a yes and what's a no. And the times when you say yes, when your body's going no, 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 when you get that sinking feeling, usually it turns out really badly. And then there'll be a whole other little excursion off the side of your spiritual path. Well, it is your path, but it's kind of got a little by road there going on because you said yes when you really should have said no, or vice versa. But either way, you're going to get where you need to be. It's just how rocky is the path.
Yeah.
And what we want to do together, I think, Dr. Pat, is help people.
Yeah.
When you are in those rocky situations, how do you get through them? How do you get out of them and find the smooth sailing on the other side?
I used to think when I would hear stories like that, and my mentor back in 1997, actually, the woman that I did go on that vision quest became my mentor. And we were going to be taking vision questing into corporations. We had started that. She passed away very unexpectedly. And the other day, I was going through some files and I found the files that we created to do that. So
Wow.
the question mark for me now becomes, why did you find those files today,
Mm.
Pat? Are you just going to shove them in the drawer? Now, let's talk about this. You and I have something similar.
Mhm.
We had to get the universe, it doesn't just give us like a letter. We get sick. And that's, you and I have that in common.
Mm.
What happened was I was going to walk away from this 6 months after I started it from pressure.
Yeah.
You got a doctorate and you spent how much money and what are you doing?
Yeah.
How can we help people today learn some of the spiritual tools that can help us make getting to our yes or our right no much easier than what we're struggling with now?
Mm. There's many answers to that question, and I think there is so many different tools that we can apply. And it can be good to sort of group things into, okay, what can we do that's just a physical reality? How can we be as harmonious as we can be in our own actions? I always think things like gratitude and kindness can never be underestimated. And then I think there's also the awareness that our spiritual journey is always going to be taking us from being intellectually based to being heart centric. And that there's something very special about the nature of the heart and soul, that the soul talks to us more easily through our hearts than through our minds. And so some of the mystery teachers of old would say the longest journey that exists on the planet is the 18 inches between here and here. And that's the longest journey you can ever take. And I think that's possibly true. And how do you condition yourself to be someone who's able to sit in that place of love, particularly when the world's a bit crazy, and there's a lot of very crazy people doing a lot of very crazy things. And how do we cultivate love and cultivate light and cultivate that part of self that has the strength to be the light infused with love despite what else is going on in the world? And so
Yeah.
we can work on our spirit, we can work on our energy field, we can get some good quality healing. There's so many good healers around now. We can also work directly with our higher soul and we can start to cultivate the strength of the soul. And of course, any spiritual practice that we do regardless of our preference of tradition, will be very valuable. And so connecting with the divine of your understanding, I think, is one of the big keys. And then being able to really just stay in that way of making decisions where you're not coming from that sympathetic nervous system activation. I've got to make a decision. What happens is we tend to make not the best decisions when we're stressed,
Yeah.
when we're not coming from that soulful connected place.
I love that we're talking about this because we're going to be going to break in a minute and people will get to experience. But each show we do, we're going to begin to have live call-in shows for people to call in to get healings as we speak. And, part of this, I love what you said about the divine of your understanding, because when I got clean and sober, I was very angry at all the divines. I don't care which one. It's like, y'all, it's like, really, you have to make me say God for me to get clean and sober? But that was such a gift for me. And what I love about what we're talking about is we open the door, and we open that door so we can invite people to take their own walk through it. Correct. To find what is going to work. And what I love about the mystery school is that there are so many ways to experience spirituality. Now, for me, when I was invited to do that, I had to call on an experience I had when I was homeless at 17. When 3 people in white outfits with tambourines were on a curb in Manhattan, now that I know they were chanting, and walked up to me, my dirty little homeless self, and offered me food and clothing. So I had to go back to that root in my sobriety. Thank goodness that I was part of an organization that didn't say you have to do it this way. Yeah, how important is that from where you and I are sitting today?
Yeah, and we have people who chant Indian mantras in our organization. We also have people who do archangelic ceremonies.
Yes.
And we have some Buddhist people too. And we have some people who are atheists who just believe in the human heart. You see, and that's not really my concern. My concern is to connect you the most deeply that you can connect. And whatever you call the divine is fine with me. Whatever traditions you favor, that's fine with me. One thing I will say, though, is that I think we don't just connect with the divine. The plan is we connect with each other. And that's very missing in our world today.
Yeah.
So some of the things we're going to share in Mystery School is going to be tools for relationship so that you can bring the spirit alive in relationships that might feel a bit dead to you or that have gone off the rails. And for me, I see that as very important peace work. And one of the reasons that we're called Shanti Mission, and it's the Shanti Mystery School, is because we're here for peace. And peace is a very high attainment. It's okay when everybody's being lovely, but what about when they're not? And that's really when you need your skills and your strength. And hopefully we'll be able to shine a bit of light on how that can be done.
Well, I love what you just said, because I had no idea what those 3 people were, what they were doing, why they were doing it. And to this day, I am not a master of any of it. And I want to say to everyone out there, when you say to somebody like I did today, I want to wear this scarf, you're going to laugh. I want to wear this scarf because it has chakra colors in it. And they look at me and they say, well, shouldn't they be in a certain order? And I almost take off my scarf. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, get ready to experience the dimensions we're talking about, some beautiful music. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'd like to introduce my very good friend, Vidya, an incredible sacred musician. We play a lot of music together at our Harmony Centre and different places we go around the world. Today we're going to share with you some music written by another of our friends, Ganapati. And the reason we're singing it is because it's a mantra to Ganesha. And Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. And we often use Ganesha's energy to remove obstacles when we're starting something new, like a new podcast. So I hope you enjoy this. The lyrics will be up soon, and it's asking for the victory and shelter of Ganesha in our lives. So here we go. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Jaya Ganesha.
Jaya Ganesha.
Om Jaya Ganesha.
Jaya Ganesha.
Om Sharanam Ganesha.
Sharanam Ganesha.
Om Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ganesha.
Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Jaya Ganesha.
Jaya Ganesha.
Om Jaya Ganesha.
Jaya Ganesha.
Om Sharanam Ganesha.
Sharanam Ganesha.
Om Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Gam Gam
Hey, hey,
Ganapataye
hey,
Namaha.
Om Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ganesha.
Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Gam Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam
Gam
Ganapataye Namaha. Ganesha.
Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And just breathing in this sound of the music and the vibration, and just asking that this sacred sound and our intention to go on this journey together, journey of peace and love and illumination. May the obstacles be released, and may each of us have the inner strength and the hope and find the joy of life in full faith. So be it.
What a beautiful show. Many more to come. Thank you all. Thank you both. Thank you for the honor of taking this journey with you. And as we like to say, fasten your seatbelts. We've only just begun.
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. But before we leave, please let folks know how they can find out more about you. Tell us about the new website.
Yes, new website, shantimission.org. It's been renovated and more renovations are coming, but shantimission.org. Also shaktidurga.com. They're our two main websites where you'll find information, lots of free things that you might want to play with.
And I want to invite all of you to share this. This is original music. You don't have to worry about music licenses. Everything you hear on this show is original music. And so please share this. Please pass the word on. And we will also be posting more of this. Thank you both for everything.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pat.
We'll
Thanks
see you all next time. And I want to say very thank you to Nat for orchestrating such a beautifully produced show. Thank you, Nat, so much for all of that. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you for joining me for Mystery School, Ancient Wisdom for Everyday Life. Be the detective of your spirit and soul and seek the doorways to a new reality. Take one insight from today and let it illuminate your path. Visit shantimission.org to learn more about our other programs, meditations, and resources for living with ease and grace. And sign up for our free Soulful Relationships Masterclass. In this class, we'll cleanse and purify the relationship energy in a key relationship in your life. Previous students have experienced rapid transformation in their marriages, in their relationships, with family, work colleagues, teenagers, just from this one practice. And you'll have a spiritual key to successful relationships that you can use again and again. Sign up for the free masterclass at shantimission.org. And we'll be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time every first and third Monday for Mystery School. Mark it in your calendar. We'll see you next time.